بسم الله والحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله. الحمد لله حمدا يوافي نعمه ويكافئ مزيده، وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. اللهم علمنا ما ينفعنا وانفعنا بما علمتنا وزدنا علما يا كريم. Welcome to Marriage Matters with Muslim Harmony, where marriage is made easy. Prophet ﷺ walked in one day to the house of Fatima radiallahu ta'ala anhu, his daughter. And as the Prophet ﷺ walked in, he noticed that Ali radiallahu ta'ala anhu, he wasn't available, or he wasn't at home during that time. Now the Prophet ﷺ, he's the father of Fatima, and naturally he asked Fatima, he questioned, where's Ali? And especially at the particular time that the Prophet ﷺ walked in, which was around noontime, the aada, or the culture of the Arabs at that time was that the husband would usually be there with the wife, and they would usually go to sleep around this time because it's really hot. If you've ever been in a place like Medina, the weather can get really extremely hot. So around this time, especially in those times where the houses were the way they were, they would naturally go to sleep around this time so they can rest. Now, so the Prophet ﷺ was, shocked. He asked Fatima where he is. So Fatima said, something occurred between me and him. And I want to focus on this statement of Fatima radiallahu ta'ala anha for a moment. She said, كَانَ بَيْنِي وَبَيْنَهُ شَيْءٍ. Something had occurred between me and him. فَغَاضَبَنِي وَخَرَجْ. So then he got angry at me and he left. Okay? Now, when a problem occurs between a husband and a wife, and a wife now is angry at the husband, and the husband now is angry at the wife, the natural reaction of most people like us, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgive us all and help us to act in a manner that is full of wisdom, just as Fatima did. The natural reaction is what? When somebody comes and asks you, hey, what happened? You usually end up saying, oh, he did this to me, or she did this to me, and we got in a fight, and he was doing this, and that man, I'm just getting so sick of him, and all of these kind of nasty comments that really falls under ghibah at that point, right? Because it's, even if he is doing that to you, you're not supposed to go and tell people without a real reason. So Fatima didn't do that. This is the Prophet ﷺ who can go tell Ali, what are you doing to my daughter? But Fatima didn't point fingers at anybody. She didn't say it's my fault. She didn't say it's Ali's fault. She just said, there was something that occurred between me and him, and that was the end of that. He got angry and he left. So the Prophet ﷺ said, where is he? She said, I don't know. I don't know where he is. Okay, he left. So the Prophet ﷺ had somebody with him at that point. Now, that man, the Prophet ﷺ requested for him to go look for Ali. He looked around, searched around the place, and at that time, people are usually sleeping, so he can't go to much houses and stuff. But he found Ali. He found him under the shade of the wall of the masjid. And Ali radiallahu ta'ala anhu was lying there. He was on the floor and he was sleeping. And as he was sleeping, a little portion of the garment of Ali had slipped off. Okay, we'll get back to that garment being slipped off. Now, the man comes back to the Prophet ﷺ and he says, Ali, I found him in the masjid. He's sleeping in the shade of the wall. So the Prophet ﷺ, he says, let's go to the masjid. So when they got to the masjid, the Prophet ﷺ sees Ali and his garment off from the side slightly, and he comes and he takes his blessed hand, alayhi salatu wassalam, and he starts to rub the dust and the dirt off of the side of Ali radiallahu ta'ala anhu, saying to him in the most beautiful of manners, saying to him, قُمْ أَبَا التُّرَابِ قُمْ أَبَا التُّرَابِ قُمْ أَبَا التُّرَابِ. Wake up, the father of the dirt. Wake up, the father of the dirt. Wake up, the father of the dirt. Now, the father of the dirt doesn't necessarily sound very good in English, and you might look at it like as an insult even, but the fact of the matter is, the way the Prophet ﷺ was treating the scenario made it so beautiful, and even in the Arabic language in general, it just sounds so beautiful that Ali radiallahu ta'ala anhu, though he was angry at his wife, and this is the father-in-law of his wife, this is the father of his wife, i.e. his father-in-law, Ali loved this mawqif or this particular statement from the Prophet ﷺ so much that the most beloved of all names to Ali radiallahu ta'ala anhu from this point onwards was nothing more than Abu Turab. So the Prophet ﷺ called him Abu Turab, and now, from now on, though Ali's angry, it's a situation that's there's a little bit of difficulty here. There's a lot of anger on both sides, and the Prophet ﷺ makes this beautiful statement to wipe away the dirt from Ali's side and to wipe away the anger from Ali's heart, and from that point onwards, he loves this name. Now, the lesson that we can learn from this particular aspect of the story is that, look, you have the Prophet ﷺ extending a gesture of love to Ali. You have him extending a very beautiful sign and a very beautiful manifestation of love to Ali, and this hand of love, and showing Ali that it's not just my daughter that I'm concerned about, it's also you. You're kind of dirty right now. I want to clean that dirt off you. I want you to get up like you're my child as well. And this is something that a lot of parent-in-laws forget, that it's not just your daughter that counts, it's not just your son that counts, rather it's their spouses that also count. They love each other, okay? And for them to love you as well, and for you to expect that love back from them, you're going to have to go and extend that hand as the older person and say, you know what, I love you as well, just as much as I love my daughter, but I'm not going to try to harm either side. Though I love my daughter, though I love her very much, though I love my son, though I love him very, very much, and they're both very dear to me, but your spouse, O son, your spouse, O daughter, is also very important to me. And the way you can do that is by extending a hand of love, just the Prophet ﷺ is doing here. So we have two lessons, very, very beautiful and very, very crucial lessons in the story. Number one, if you have a marriage problem, keep it to yourself. Fatima radiallahu ta'ala anha kept her problem to herself because she realized that if she was to bring a third party in, the problem would become magnified and maybe uncontrollable at the end of it, right? And if you are a father-in-law or a mother-in-law, then take care in terms of your dealings towards your son or your daughter-in-law, and make sure you show them that same love that you would do to your son or your daughter. And with that being said, this is Abdul Wahab Saleem, and I am wishing you best of luck in all of your marriages. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala preserve and protect and increase the love between you and your husband or you and your spouse. وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين.